The title of the course was The Benefits of Community Action, and I put that slide up there to actually show you where I come from, where we come from Fryston. Because isn't that a lovely community centre? And we're very proud of it, but it wasn't always like that. And reduction in energy consumption was one of the key drivers in us being able to afford to develop that centre. And if we go through that in a short talk, I'll show you some pictures of where we came from, because it's been a long journey, and more recently we've gathered pace as sustainability came more to the fore. So, the community, what about the Community Association? We're a CIO, that's a community interest organisation. As such, we're apolitical. From my perspective, I'm absolutely a pragmatist. I am not green at all. I am in it to actually just make sense of what's going on around it and share what I learn with as many people as I can. So that's about us. And I'm delighted, Kate, that you would invite me to come and talk to this. I've been told 15 minutes, so here goes. It's been a long-term process. We started in 2007, and it's been 3 phases. And I'm just giving you an overview of our last phase, which is from, I'm going to find it, yeah, from 2019. Our last phase is do whatever we can to be sustainable. Now that was a motion adopted by our trustees of the Community Association in 2019, and from that point in time, that's what we, and I'll use this word we many times, because it ain't about one person, it's about a group of people of the same mind coming together to make a difference. And that covers all sorts of things. So for instance, I mentioned collecting waste paper. We're home to our village drop-off recycling centre. Yeah. One of the things we did was stop using disposables at the community centre. Another thing was, taking it a bit further on, we now only use rechargeable batteries. So this isn't just about one element about focused on energy and reduction of carbon dioxide. So when we came together in 2019, we took soundings with people who we thought might be interested, and that turned out to be the head of school, head of our primary school, Rick Waits. It was the church warden at the time, because we were interviewing them. It was the president of the cricket club and the leader of the football club. All of them said, yes, we're interested. Yes, we want to do this, because it's the right thing to do. But we have no time, no money, and no expertise. Lesson number 1, you need some friends who've got a bit of that. What we wanted to do was to create an exemplar building and share our learning. Because our building there, as you see, is about 270 square metres, 2,700 square feet. It sits right within the category where we can get a grant, and I did get a grant from the SRC pump. So we are, what I'm telling you this evening is relevant to perhaps your houses, to an ordinary house in our village. It's relevant to every community centre that I know of. The outcome 5 years on. This is what we've done, all these various things. So we did a renewable energy feasibility study, we did a thermal imaging survey, we installed solar panels, 2 10 kilowatt batteries at different points, we re-insulated one wall. Interesting comments about insulation, I'll mention that if anybody wants later. We replaced our gas heating with an air source heat pump, and we've got ongoing energy efficiency work. I say ongoing, because energy efficiency is a bit like an onion. You peel one layer back, and then you see, do you know, we can do something over here now and make a saving there. For instance, the cricket club, they observed that one of their week-long consumers of energy was their beer fridge. They only play cricket on a Saturday, and yet they left the fridge on all week, just gobbling away electricity. 2 hours will do it, won't it? I mean, anyway, they've stopped that now. We have not generated any on-site carbon emissions since last year. since July 23, when we took the gas out. So we are carbon free. And in this May and June, we have been more than carbon neutral. It was one of our aims to become carbon neutral. And we've got important learning for all. So, here we go. You don't know what you don't know. I'll show you some examples of that later. What you measure, you manage. I'll show you some examples of that. I was delighted to hear someone say that you've got smart metering. That's fundamental, but maybe go on a bit further in the level of detail that you've got to be able to do something. Every building, indeed every room, you know it from your own homes. You know, that room's colder than that room, it's drafty, and so on and so forth. Now, you've got individual climates. Every room is different. It's data that's shown us that, and I'll come into that in a minute. Every organisation, I don't know you hear from different parish organisations or different ones, but every organisation, and certainly every individual, circumstances are different. There ain't one solution fits everybody. It's all different. And your aims, your objectives, your financial situation, the resources you've got available, your priorities, will change over a period of time. It's just how it is. Because you might be saying, yeah, we're going to do this climate change, and then suddenly roof's leaking. You've got to fix it. So that'll go to one side. And everyone needs a bit of help and advice. Kate and Chris were introduced to us back in late 2019, early 20. Kate and Chris provided us with that help and expertise that we needed to launch our sustainability project. Thank you, Kate.
I think you're always very gracious, but to be honest, we just gave you a few ideas and you pretty much wrapped up the rest of it.
You gave us some very important ideas. This was our building, and that building is within that big picture building I showed earlier. This was our original community centre, built by the hands of volunteers in the 1970s, 100 square metres, and that's what we had. What we had to do was to take control of it, and we introduced auto timing and control mechanisms to minimise the amount of electricity we were burning. We had, I'm just looking around here, it was lit by T12 tubes. I think these are T8s. And it just burnt it. It was heated by 4 3-kilowatt heaters. The sort that you got burnt on the back of your head, but front of you were cold. Depends how near to the heater was. But they just went on. And in a 2-hour meeting, you burnt off 20 kilowatts of electricity. Our centre, when we're not operating the air source heat pumps, just burns about 20 kilowatts of energy a day. Now, that's where reducing energy consumption, just taking control and doing some automation stuff, makes a difference. One of the things we did, and I advocate this is from in this building now, but we did it before, we put on a big red button by the door. That's the all-off button. As every user that goes in there, we have disparate groups, we have going, the major instruction they've got is, to get the electricity in the place, you've got to turn that on. As you leave, you turn that off. And that eliminated lots of people leaving cookers on, leaving fridges on, not necessarily, leaving lights in cupboards on, just burning away forever. So, very important. That's about control. You can do that in every house and every building you've got. You may do it already. So, 27 to 13, being frugal, because that means financial sustainability. You can see that what we've done by 2013, we've put on 2 extensions. We've got one extension here, which is we put on in 2011, there. Whoa! Let's go back. There. And then the conservatory in 2013. We did that, and being frugal sort of souls, we didn't put any extra heating. But what we did do, we started to plan for the future. We put underfloor heating in, but nothing to it, because we didn't have any way of heating it. And we had 2 1 kilowatt heaters. So we almost all the size of the original building with no extra heat. What it meant was we could actually hire the place much more for about the same sort of energy costs as what we were doing before. It helped build the financial sustainability model for the thing. And we put LED lights in for the first time. In 2014 to 19, we rebuilt our centre. It was a programme which Chris helped us with. It was called the Community Centre Redevelopment and Youth Provision Project. It's less than 270 square metres. We expanded and we kept tweaking. So we insulated the buildings to building reg standard. LED lights throughout, and that's just a view inside. Also in there, what you can see are these square panels, noise attenuation panels, which also act as a bit of insulation. Wet underfloor heating throughout. With that came a problem. We had to find a way of using it, so we had to grab a grant from to provide us with the source of power for it, to heat the water. But also it brought a challenge, because with it being underfloor heating, people couldn't see and couldn't feel what the temperature is like. And guess what? They were fiddling with controls. See? Lost our control. So I had to build a cupboard to lock it away. And there's another story to that later. So there we are. So then from 2019 to 11, we provided leadership in sustainability throughout the village. We've been in touch with residents, we've engaged with them. Some have taken it on board, and 1 or 2 of them have got the whole lot with solar panels, air source heat pumps. Many have not. Many have said, let me see how it is. But then that was our proposition. We live amongst you, we ain't going to go away, we're going to be transparent, we're going to show you the data, and then you'll see whether it works or not. So, these next 3 slides are all about energy efficiency, because it's so important that right at the outset, you keep looking at energy efficiency, energy efficiency, energy efficiency. It's also probably the lowest cost way of saving money. Just do it, turn it off, control it, eliminate waste. A little one, the church, they had a system just sat there for their boiler so they could remotely Wi-Fi put the controls in. You know, sat on the settee, yes, we've got a service now, let's put the timers on it. It sat there for 10 years before they used it. It was the energy crisis which actually acted as a catalyst to get them to use it. You may have similar things going on in your businesses. Targeted investments. Where you've got natural light, you don't need your lights a lot of time. You've got LEDs, you have a lux sensor, and you have a timer. And we have those things around the whole building. Heating zones. Do you need the same amount of heat in the toilets as you do in the building? The rest of the building? No, the short answer is no, because don't much care about dwell time in the loos. So, yeah, and likewise around the conservatory, places like that. Lighting, more insulation, lofts, walls, windows, doors, and lobbies. I'm a big advocate of lobbies, because when it's a lobby, you should pour a little airlock to stop people wasting it. And we do all those renewable activities. So, you know, I can tell you a story about each one of those things, but I haven't got time for that, sadly. Data management is important. Now, thermal imaging is a form of data management, and on this same picture on the left there, that's a stench pipe. When we redeveloped the building, we failed to cap it off properly, just there. So that's been our exhaust to the world from 2014 through to us getting it fixed in about 2021, only 7 years. And this is it afterwards. So we capped it off, and underfloor heating, one of the benefits of underfloor heating is that you don't have that with a radiator or anything else. Because heat goes straight through the wall. If you have a radiator, a lot of the heat goes into the wall, whereas underfloor heating, It's into your building. It's in the centre, and your building will be warmer. But I walked past that thing thousands of times, and I didn't know we hadn't done it. There was no indicator. It was when we got the data from the thermal imaging that was proved right. You manage what you measure. Solar panels. This was our first detailed profile of what our energy consumption is or was. And over on the left there, in March 2021, I think it is, that's our first profile. I didn't know we used energy like this. That's when it's sunny and the solar panels are working. But what are all these spikes? We just didn't know what those spikes were. We thought it was our sewage pump that was kicking in. We thought it might be a fridge that was kicking in. And so on and so on. We just didn't know. The next one, in the middle there, that's when we got a battery. So where it's red, we're able to draw electricity from the grid. When it's blue, with a battery, then we're self-sufficient, but we've still got the spikes. When it got to June about this time of year, and it's been Costadale breaking at the moment, aren't we? Oh, no socks tonight. We sent a bloke into the cupboard to have a look, see what it was, and guess what? Come on, the prize, no one's having a guess. We'd left the immersion meter on for 7 years. 25% of our electricity consumption reduced in a flash. We didn't know what we didn't know. I mean, we're not mugs, we wouldn't have wanted to do that. We've been trying to save energy. But what you measure, you manage. Next one. Here we go. This is, we've now got an air source heat pump. We've now got solar panels. We've now got 2 batteries. And the one on the left is production. This was earlier in June. That's what a typical solar panel day looks like when you've got clouds about. It comes and goes. And guess what? It doesn't marry up with what you demand. And that's what it looks like together. So, yeah, shall we have solar panels? Shall we have solar panels and a battery? Seems like a good idea to me. And this is one of the days where we've been carbon neutral. So, if we go back, yeah. Right, and this is what it looks like. The battery, we've now got 2 batteries. There's an important point on this, which is about there, because 40% is about 8 kilowatts. Now, if it drops below about 10, you're onto your second battery. That means that particular point there, even in June, even when we would have had a lot of energy being generated, we'd have been drawing a lot off the grid. That's the day's output, 29, 25. Very interestingly, every day we have to draw off the grid. And I'll tell you why that is shortly. Every single day we have to draw off the grid. Just a small amount, 3%, but that particular day we're 96% carbon neutral, self-sufficient. Do heat pumps work? Well, that's a heat pump. Have anyone seen one? With a cage around it, don't forget the cage, so the kids climbing all over it, and on it, and whatever. And that's the gubbins in the cupboard. So that's what they'll look like. You're welcome to come and see ours if you want. Does it work? There's only one real test, does it work? Ask clients. Is it warm enough in the room? Can you're hiring it and you might come in the middle of winter, you might come in the middle of summer, and is it warm enough when you come with your little sprogs or with a book club who's going to sit around anytime? Is it warm enough? And they'll soon tell you if it's not. Now, what we did was, we actually measured the temperatures of the main hall, and that's the main hall there, the year before we installed it. So we could have a benchmark when we had no complaints, when it was gas heating, because one of the things about air source heat pumps is it never warms the place up. It's low temperature, etc., etc. Now, so we have a little gadget called a smart life meter. We've got one in each room, and it gives the profile of each room. Main hall, meeting room, and this little thing here, that's the smart life meter. It's a little Wi-Fi gadget. It measures temperature and humidity, records it 24/7 and the months as well. So we've got the data. It's a bit hard to correlate it all between everything else, but we've got the data, we know the profile. And then, do heat pumps work? Short answer is yes to do, but make some contingencies. We have a contingency of 2 air fan heaters, so that if, for instance, it breaks down, but they never break down at a convenient time, because we have kids in from 7 o'clock in the morning, we've got 2 big fan heaters, which we can put on whilst the engineer comes to fix it, investigate and fix it. And the grant supplier pays for that as well. This is, these nice bar charts here shows our production and consumption through 3 years. Believe it or not, they're on the same scale, because I've come across here at 600 kilowatts. The important bars are the brown ones, because that's our consumption. The green ones are overproduction, or underproduction as it's been this last winter. When it got to September last year, look at this. We started to climb. That's the air source heat pump doing the work of the gas heating. Yeah? And here we are, January, February, March, April, May. And we're back into it. So, do the work? Yes. Does it cost us more money? Well, that's where the coefficients of use comes in. 1 kilowatt of electricity should be about 3 kilowatts of output of heat, which should equal what it's costing you for your fuel, your gas, in a broad brush sense. And I'm pleased to say, in a broad brush sense, on the evidence we've got so far, yes it does. However, there are 1 or 2 little things we need to note. One is the weather. You get cold snaps, you get hot snaps, no 2 years are the same. So there's a bit of it. We'll need 5 years of data to make some sense of it. But we're not producing any CO2, and that's got to be celebrated. Yeah. And at school, they installed the ground source heat pump, they put solar powers on, they've done work on their boiler systems to put controls in there, they've done work on the windows, extra insulation on those things, they've done glazing, and they're moving that way as well. It's wonderful news. So that's the difference. That's what you've got to manage, and that's one of the reasons why we'll always need electricity from somewhere else. So, some thoughts. Really think hard before what you want to achieve and why when you start this process. Consider the impact of investments. I've met no bones on it. Energy efficiency is there, right, it's that bang at the front. Solar, batteries, air source heat pump, and, now you might call this greenwashing, investing in or purchasing green energy. I'd buy green electricity, I won't buy green gas, because I don't think there is any, unless it's a green methane or something like that. You can invest now in solar farms, in wind farms. We need an external source of energy to be sustainable, 365. And that's to cope with surge power for starting machines, it's to cope with motors, adverse climate conditions, and heat. Heat. At home, we are going to need to be heated. I think it's unlikely we are going to have hydrogen whistling down the pipes. That's why gas is still going to come down for a little while yet. But everything else.
Do you still have hydrogen whistling down the pipes? Do you used to have hydrogen?
I used to, but not at the moment, and it won't be for a little while. Thank you for listening. Any questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Your heat and solar panels.
Yeah.
Are they affected at the equinoxes?
What you get is a profile. So at this time of year, the equinoxes
Is also the job?
Is it equinoxes when it's
March and September.
well, it depends on clouds much and anything. If you get a clear day, you'll get 12 hours of generation. If you've got a cloudy day,
You'll have seen the diagrams at Portal Church,
Yeah.
and the equinox has made a great difference.
Yeah, well, it's that profile, and yeah, you get onto the shoulder periods. The shoulder periods are when anything can happen, and you just hope for a good spring, like when it was locked down. Do you remember when we started lockdown? It was that glorious April, and it was like, wow, look at this. We want to work. You can be at home and this glorious sunshine. Any other questions? We're going to stay, so we'll answer. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask actually, because you said you worked with the school, but,
Yeah.
did you work alongside the school, or did the school do it after you'd done this?
No, we've been partnering,
Yeah.
and we all worked together towards the same aim. And the same aims were, create exemplar buildings, to share our information, and to give kids hope, give young people hope for the future. And but when it came to finding funding, then each of us had to go and look out for our own funding. So we found all our own funding. And that's another community benefit. We've got a lot of kit for free. We've done a lot of work for free that we didn't have to, in inverted commas, run a raffle for. We got grants. Yes.
You said you had that little meeting, is that in the whole building now?
It's in the whole building. When we redeveloped it, we lifted the floorboards. Well, we had 3 extensions, and we put it laid into concrete, which is the best way of doing it. In the main hall, which was a wood truss floor, we put insulation in the bottom, laid on that the pipes. And so when it came to doing the business of swapping to an air source heat pump, it was like, yeah, that's okay.
And is your hall busy all day, every day, kind of thing?
Yeah, we start through the week. It's 7 o'clock is before school club. Yeah, they finish at 6 every evening, but we have groups in through the day as well. And then we give half an hour grace between 6 and 6:30, hand overtime. Then it's often used through to 10 o'clock.
And do you set a temperature for the day and then a separate temperature for
We
the night?
only set the same temperature all the time.
And at night as well?
Same temperature, 24/7, no fiddle about. Because it's all run by volunteers, and so what we don't want to do is to give ourselves any work.
You can do it automatically.
Pardon?
You can do it automatically like that, but you find it better to have it.
Yeah, we do it. You see my phone there? I can do it now.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Right, I'll give somebody else a chance.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Barry.